they are not interviewing you. So it's the document you submit to them they are going to base, or base their final decision.
Cause you ain't never talking loud and you know plenty. You know what I'm talking about, cause you just get me. Yeah, you so pretty. If everything is dipped in gold, then baby it will never grow.
It's good to have you all back again. Trust you all have been good. Like I promised you guys in my last video that I was gonna be reading out my statement of intent or letter of intent I used in applying for my visa to you guys. And this is gonna be a disclaimer. I'm not an immigration consultant, because people are already, acting funny in my comment section. But in all my videos, I always tell you guys I'm not an immigration consultant, okay? Whatever I tell you guys here is based off of my own experience, or based off my own experience, okay? And experiences of those I've been in close contact with, all right? So today I'm going to be telling you guys, or reading out my letter of intent. But mind you, I know some people might be getting my words, like copy my intent word for word. I'm only guiding you on how you should write your letter of intent based on how I did mine, and it worked for me. I'm saying this just so you have an idea of how to write your letter of intent, because before I wrote mine as well, I also made research. I checked Google, I watched videos on YouTube of those who have also done the same thing, and I followed some of their guidelines. Like, I meshed a whole lot of guidelines together to write my own intent, and that is what I'm going to read out to you guys, just so you understand. I am not saying I'm not going to share I'm not going to share it on screen for you guys. I'm only going to be reading it out. And mind you, this information is already in Canada website. That is, this is my statement of intent. So if you copy it and do the same thing, your application is going to be flagged, trust me, because they're going to know, oh, this is a copyrighted intent, it is not genuine. So whatever you're doing, it has to be genuine, because these immigration officers, they know when you're genuine and they know when you're not genuine. So I'm only going to guide you guys, tell you guys how to arrange your letter of intent. Don't write exactly what I'm reading for you guys. Just understand the way I structured it. Explain your reasons, how you are coming about everything, your reason for wanting to study. Let it be genuine, let it be real. Don't just do copy and paste, plagiarism, or what is it called. You're gonna be flagged for it, okay? So all right, let's get to the details of this video. So now let's proceed. So the first thing I want you all to know is that in your visa application to Canada, so I'm going to be talking only for Canada. This letter of intent I'm going to be reading, if you see me looking down, I'm actually looking at my laptop. I have my laptop here, so I'm reading off my jottings and your questions and everything off of this laptop, in case you see me looking down, just so you understand, okay? So now what I'm saying is, you all know for Canada, you don't have to sit for an interview, or you don't have to go for an interview. So whatever the immigration officer wants to know about you is every document you submit to them. I've mentioned this in my previous videos. I'm going to leave links to my previous videos so you guys can watch them. Everything, your application, how the visa officer sees you, is based off of the application you submitted. Some people might be like, oh, I tried, but I wasn't given this I wasn't given the visa. Granted, it happens, but sometimes also it depends on how you package your documents. This is not me shading anyone. This is not me saying, oh, you're not doing something right. Like I said, I am not perfect. I am not an immigration consultant. Everything I'm telling you is based off of my own experience so far. And like I also mentioned in my previous videos, before applying for my visa, I consulted with an immigration officer from here in Canada, before also working with the agents I worked with in Nigeria, because I wanted to get it right. I sought advice. I compared and contrasted everything. I also made research on Google, on YouTube. Like I always tell you guys, if you're planning for something huge that matters a lot to you, you need to make the research, make the findings, because this is going to save you a lot, okay? So, like as I was saying, Canada doesn't, ask you to come for interview. So whatever results or the outcome of your visa application, yes, it's God, but it also comes from the document you submitted, how you packaged your documents, okay? How you provided all the necessary documentations they want you to provide, all right? So one of such documents, which is very, very important, you need to submit is your letter of intent. I don't know the other word it's called. Is it letter of introduction? I don't know, but I know it as letter of intent. Letter of intent. Oh my word. So I know it as letter of intent, okay? So your letter of intent is you telling them about yourself, telling them why you want to study in that institution, why you want to study in Canada, your reason for studying that program, how you intend to use that program later on. It's all about you telling them about yourself. This, in fact, this is you selling yourself to them, because these people don't know you. They are not calling you to, okay, come and tell me about yourself. No, the document you're sending is what tells them about you, and your letter of intent is you introducing them one-on-one. It's just like when you go for a job interview, they'll tell you, tell me about you, tell me about yourself, tell me what drives you. So your letter of intent is exactly what does that for you, for your Canada visa application. So now let's get into the details of how I jotted, or how I wrote down my letter of intent. So I started off by you have to date it first. Your date has to be on the right hand side, upper right hand side. Then the address of the consular be on the lower left side. Then you start with your heading, which is your letter of intent. So the first thing you're going to do is what I did was I introduced myself, and then I told them that I'm writing to apply for study permits to study continuing care assistance. So in fact, the first sentence I wrote was telling them my name and telling them the reason why I am writing the letter. So they need to know why you're writing the letter. That's the first thing you need to do. I wish to apply for a study permit in Canada, as you mentioned the program you're intending to study. All right, and you also mentioned the name of the school which you're seeking the application, the admission in. Then the second paragraph you're going to be writing is a brief history about yourself, the college you went to, the university you went to, the job you did, like your backstory leading up to that particular program you want to go for, because there has to be a correlation, there has to be a relation with your past history, your studies, the job you did, in relation to the program you're doing. All right, so you explain that to them. That's going to be in the second paragraph. So then I told them that I graduated from a certain university and I've worked in some certain places. Explained all of these things to them, that it drove me to want to work in that field, do more. But to do that work, I need to be properly I need to be properly trained. I have to study for it, and that is the reason why I have decided to study this program in this particular institution in this particular country, which is Canada. So I made them know that this desire have built this working in such environment as desire to work in this capacity. For that, I seek admission to study in Canada as a continuing care assistant. So for the third paragraph, guys, I told them that I've considered getting this certification in Canada because it's an avenue, an opportunity for me to get the required knowledge and expertise, because I believe this is going to give me the edge I need to progress in my chosen career, either home here or abroad. Okay, and at the same time, I intend to, what you intend to do with that program, you state it to them. That is what I did. That's for the third paragraph. Now for the fourth paragraph, I told them that I have made my research on choosing your school. And for you to tell them the reason why you're choosing your school, you should know well about your school. To know well about your school, you need to go to your school website, know what your school motto is all about, know what your study program is all about, know what your course, comprises of. In fact, you should even look for, topics or information in what you're going to study in that program. Look at your modules. I know they are going to give modules breakdowns of what the program is about. Go to your school website, you're going to see all those information about your school. So understand what your school is about, understand what your program is about, and you coin it into your letter of intent. You explain those things to them, because they need to know that you're actually coming to study and you're not just going there because you want to jackpot. as you know, some people have made them to understand. So for me, I told them I conducted an extensive research for a study destination where I will have the best access to the best of knowledge, where I will adapt quickly and you know, have the financial resources to carry on in the program. So I also told them the reason why I choose, you know, Canada, the reason why I choose my school, like I talked about. And also I told them a brief about my school, how my school has been doing, what they've achieved so far. You know, you need to also sell your school so they know the school you're also applying to is not just any house school, that is the school that will also give you the results for which you want. Like, sell your school, sell yourself. Okay. Then the next thing I also mentioned about was how I'm going to be sponsoring myself, or who is going to be sponsoring me. So in this letter of intent, you have to break it down. You tell them, okay, well, this is the person sponsoring me, and that is going to be the 5th paragraph. So you tell them who is sponsoring you, how the money came about. You know, if you've already shown them your proof of funds, explain to them how the proof of funds came about, who is, you know, sponsoring you, what that your sponsor does for a living. You know, you explain all of this to yourself. And if you are sponsoring yourself, which I know some people might be sponsoring themselves, if you're sponsoring yourself, you also tell them what job you do, how you got, you know, whatever financial ability you have, the companies you've worked for, and all of that. All right. So this is what I didn't make it too long. It was just 5 paragraphs, if I'm to be honest. Yeah, it was 5 paragraphs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, my letter of intent was just 5 paragraphs, but I made sure I explained in each paragraph, I explained all the details I wanted them to know about me. Remember, guys, you have to tell them about your school, about the program, what you want to use the program for, how you got your, you know, your funding, who is funding you, how they came about the money. Tell your school to them, like, and then at the end of it, you tell them that I'm confident that my study time at so college or so university and my achievements will be highly rewarded, and I look forward to, you know, getting a positive response from them. So that was pretty much my letter of intent. Like, I kept it short and simple, ensure it's well grounded together. So these are everything I wrote out. I told them about myself. I told them everything they needed to know. And also, if you have any issues, I'm going to tell you guys this as well. This is where many people fail, you know, in the application. If you have a little bit of controversies in your application, say you submitted a certain document that you feel, this thing they might think it somehow. Anything documents, you know, will make them think twice. You need to write a letter to support it. See, it doesn't matter how much letter you write, because in the visa application, you are going to see other. So you're going to see other places where you like attach other additional documents, and that is where you have to attach any documentation you have to attach. If you feel, okay, this particular document I submitted is not complete, or it will be confusing, write a letter to explain that particular document. So I also wrote another letter for aside from this letter of intent I just read to you guys. I also wrote a letter explaining my proof of funds. So if you have any controversy, any issues, like, okay, you are submitting 2 different accounts, or one account, you can submit, but you have to have a letter of intent to, you know, strongly explain how those 2 accounts came about, why you're having 2 different accounts. If you did a huge sum of money, a lump sum, explain to them how and where the lump sum came about. Like, explain these things to them. Like I told you guys, they are not interviewing you, so it's the document you submit to them they are going to base their final decision off of. Okay, so that is just how I did it. I know it's a lot, but at the same time, you have to get it right. Like, I'm going to tell you guys, don't forget, your document is what sells you. Your letter of intent, your explanations about yourself, how you package your document is what determines, you know, how the visa officer sees you. All right, like, I just hope this helps someone, and if you're in that process of submitting your application, I hope like you are successful and you're granted your visa. All right, I think that is that for this video. Like I said, I'm not going to read my document, my letter of intent word for word, you know, to avoid issues, but I just guided you guys how I wrote mine, and I hope that should help in one way or the other. I'm gonna go straight to you guys' questions.